Wesley Hunt is a great patriot. We've had him here before. He's served his country like a great patriot. He's now in the House of Representatives doing the same thing. Wesley Hunt, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a very pivotal time in our history. I really appreciate it.
It is, isn't it? The dark clouds are forming over this republic. And what's happening now is so unconscionable. What the Democrat Party, the Biden administration, and their thugs are doing, unbelievable. What's your take on this?
So literally, Joe Biden is literally the worst president we have seen in modern history, and he is weaponizing our three-letter agencies to go against his political opponent. So the Iowa caucuses are literally in 6 months. In 6 months. And you have a current president that is using the FBI and the DOJ to go after not only a former president, but his current political opponent who was up by 30 points in every single political poll. We would expect this from a banana republic. We would expect this from Venezuela and China and other horrible nations, but not these United States of America. And when you talk about dark clouds are forming, they are absolutely forming. And what I've realized is that every time they do this, every time there's another investigation, President Trump's polls go up because the American public are sick and tired of watching this happen to our country every single day. I spoke to the president a few weeks ago, and he told me something I thought was very important. He said, Wesley, they aren't coming after me. They're coming after you, and I'm just standing in their way. And that's why President Trump is our guy, and he is literally the only one that can remove these storm clouds from forming in the future.
And you know, Wesley Hunt, the thing about what he said is so true. They're destroying and have destroyed already our justice system, our criminal justice system. This whole January 6th thing they're talking about is to intimidate. Let me put it to you this way. Do most of your fellow Republicans in the House, some in the Senate, understand that this is a war on the Republican Party? The Democrat Party wants to monopolize control over the government, over politics, and ultimately our lives. That this is a war on Trump, it's a war on the Republican Party, and it's a complete effort to undermine our republic. Do you think almost to a man and woman the Republicans in the House understand that?
I think the majority of us actually do understand that. I think the issue is that there are a lot of people that don't want to do what it takes to preserve our democracy, to preserve our future. I think a lot of people take an apathetic approach because they think this is going to miraculously disappear and it's just going to go away. And it's by the fact, sir, that we just found cocaine in the White House and it gets dismissed. We have no idea whose it was. I mean, we know whose it was, but you know what I mean. We have found weed twice in the White House. $10 million has gone to Hunter Biden. The plea deal that Hunter Biden got, which was an absolute complete joke. And you're talking about this Biden, this family, that's one of the most corrupt families that we've ever seen in the history of this country, and the backdrop of going after President Trump, and that you still have many Republicans that are not willing to step up and tell the truth. And I really commend those of us that are willing to do that, and I think we are the ones that are actually going to save this country from the brink of disaster. But I would love to see every single Republican member of Congress stand behind President Trump and understand that without him, we are going to lose our republic. We always talk about every election being the most important election of our lifetime, until it actually is. This is the most important election of our lifetime. Are we as a country going to choose communism, or are we going to choose capitalism? Are we going to choose fascism, or we are going to choose what made this country the greatest country in the world, and that's brave Americans that are willing to stand for individual liberties and freedom? President Trump represents one, and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, who they have doubled down on, represent the other. This is a very pivotal time in our country.
100%. Now, Congressman, I'm old enough to remember when the great, now late, dear friend of mine, Ken Starr, was independent counsel.
Yes.
And the media would greet him every morning when he had a cup of coffee in his hand as he was going to the office. And they were there every night when he was returning home. And they were attacking him. They knew the names of every member of his staff. They were attacking them. Story after story after story about Ken Starr and his staff. We have no idea where Jack Smith lives. The media don't go to his home, morning, noon, and night. There are no stories about Jack Smith. We had Matt Gaetz on this program. He tells us that we don't even know the names of the people he's hired to investigate President Trump. What do you make of this?
So there has clearly been a war on conservative voices by the media for about 15 years now. It has degraded to the point to where now everyone on the left and all the crimes of the Biden family are being covered up by this very liberal media. And we know this already, sir. We know this. And this is why shows like yours are so important. This is why congressional voices like Matt Gaetz, like myself, they are so important, because the only way that we can get this message out to the people, to what's actually happened, is to what's actually happening, is through our social media outlets. It's through shows like yours. But that's okay, because quite frankly, sir, no one trusts the liberal media anymore anyway. They have literally gone so far left that people are trying to find other outlets in order to get their news that's actually real, that's actually honest. They can now actually go to the source. They can go to my Twitter page. They can go to my Instagram page and see exactly what I said and the messaging that we are putting out. And that's why I do believe that we're going to have a very good 2024. Because in spite of the liberal left holding water, and in spite of all of these media outlets holding water for Democrats, guess what? President Trump is still doing very well, because people have to actually live with these poor policies. This is the worst inflation I've seen in my lifetime. Yes, we have a border crisis. This is not some conspiracy. I am a congressional member in Texas. We've had 6 million people enter our country illegally. It's wrong. This country is heading in the wrong direction. And you know what? There's no news media outlet that's being controlled by the left that can tell the average American otherwise. And that's why we have got to stay in this fight, to continue to fight against this liberal faction that wants to destroy our country from within.
Well, you're very right on in your articulation of the problem here. I think their attitude is, though, yeah, those MAGA Republicans, they'll get all worked up and they'll come out and
Mr. Johnson, MAGA Republicans.
Yeah, exactly. and he'll be nominated, and then the rest of the country that's not MAGA necessarily, they'll be completely turned on. I think that's what they think.
That's what they think, and again, they are wrong again. I'll tell you something, sir. I'm a black man in this country, and I am all in for President Trump. When I talk to other black men across this country, they are sick and tired of the Democrat plantation. When I talk to Hispanic women and Hispanic men in this country, the people that Democrats are overlooking and just assuming that they're going to get their vote, these are the people that have lived with these ridiculous policies, these anti-conservative values that aren't American. And these people are saying enough is enough. I am convinced that President Trump is going to get the highest black male turnout in the history of the Republican Party. And I'm telling you that because people are looking up and they're saying, yeah, you know what? This inflation is actually killing my bank account.
We're here with a great congressman, Wesley Hunt of Texas. Wesley Hunt. Kevin McCarthy, I think, has been really quite a fantastic leader. I mean, he's taken on the Biden administration, he's taken on the Department of Justice, he's taken on the immigration issue and so forth. People can squabble over this or that on the budget and so forth, but I don't think there's another leader in my lifetime other than maybe Newt who would be doing the things he's doing, in addition to confronting Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries' uncle is a known anti-Semite. It was so bad that they had to fire him from college. And he was close with Louis Farrakhan, and he said these horrific things about Jews. And when Hakeem Jeffries was in college and in a significant position, he defended him. Actually defended what he said. This is all under the blanket, under the sheets. Wouldn't be, of course, for Trump or anybody else, but he's the leader of the Democrats. So Kevin McCarthy says, look, your party, Mr. Jeffries, whether it's Jayapal or whether it is Omar or Tlaib or AOC or Presley or down the list, is anti-Semitic. It is a growing poison in the Democrat Party. Now, what are you going to do about this? And so we have this big vote today where all but 9 members of Congress voted that Israel is not a racist state. It seems to me that's a relatively low bar. I'm glad people voted that way. But among the 9 were the people I just mentioned. Do you think the Republican Party would tolerate 9 neo-Nazis or 9 Klansmen among their ranks the way the Democrat Party tolerates this?
Under no circumstances would that happen. And I watched in horror, and I watched these people vote on that in a way that was completely un-American. So I'm somebody that's been to Israel twice. I was in Passover for 2 years in a row in 2014, 2015, and I loved every second of it. I'm also somebody that served in Saudi Arabia for 2 years as a military guy. And I'm here to tell you the only ally that we have in that region, the only true ally that we have in that region is Israel. That's the strongest ally in that region, and we can never turn our backs on Israel. And we're kind of facing a very similar issue in the black community. I think you are seeing a lot of Jewish Americans turn their back on the Democrat Party because they just refuse. They refuse to stay away from anti-Semitism. And you know what? You're absolutely correct, sir. If that happened in our party, oh my gosh, we'd be done. There'd be hell to pay. It'd be on the cover of everything. But the hypocrisy has been nauseating to us.
Mm-hmm. Now, what are you seeing in the black community? That people are getting fed up with the way they're treated too by the Democrats?
Oh, absolutely, sir. And we see that every single day. And the one thing that I kind of want to bring up too, sir, is that whenever you hear the word MAGA Republicans, see, MAGA Republicans and those that support MAGA ain't about being black, ain't about being white, ain't about being Jewish. It is about putting American policies first. MAGA Republicans are cops. They're black cops. They're white cops. They're firefighters. They're welders. They're pipe fitters. They're doctors. They're nurses. They are the very heartbeat of this country. Now, you may not see that on TV because the only thing that they're going to try to show to convince the public is that we're all racist. But I am telling you that in 2008, the Republican Party got 4% of the black male vote. President Trump got 20% of the black male vote.
Amazing.
President Trump got the highest Hispanic vote of any Republican president in modern history. Those are the MAGA Republicans that we're talking about. And, sir, it's not about race. It's not about that. But if we do win these specific demographics, then the Democrat Party has no path to victory with the poor leadership of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They are terrified of this, and that's why they're trying to put our president behind bars.
And you make a great point. 20% of the black male vote, a significantly increased percentage of the Latino vote, and so forth. And yet that is why they keep pushing this white dominant culture, white privilege, white racism agenda, because they're trying to scare people who are not white to vote against the Republicans, because this is the hateful, bigoted, anti-Semitic Democrat Party of old, under Woodrow Wilson, under Franklin Roosevelt, under Lyndon Johnson, and now under Biden. Yes?
Yes. And they have candidates like me that they despise because I point out their lies. Sir, we've come a very long way in this country. My great-great-grandfather was a slave. And do you know I am a representative in a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 20 points, and I beat another white man by 30 points. And do you know why?
Amazing.
Because I was the most qualified person. That's where we are. And I want to celebrate the distance that we've traveled. I don't want to focus on the past. And what I do not like is when I look at liberals that try to tell me that I don't exist. We are everywhere in this country. And that's why I also emphasize so much that we have got to stop talking about race and start talking about American values. Because if this country were that racist, I wouldn't be talking to you on the phone today, sir. If this country were so anti-Semitic against all the values, the strong Jewish values that I know you hold, sir, you wouldn't be talking to me on the phone right now. And here you have a Jewish man talking to a black man about good, strong American values. We need more of that. That's on our side. We are not the party of division. We are not the party of identity politics. We are the party that puts America's priorities first. And if you are not on board with that, then go somewhere else.
Man, you're good. I want to thank you. We want to have you back.
Happy to be on.
And if people want to find out more about you, where do you go? You have an official website.
It's wesleyfortexas.com, sir.
wesleyfortexas.com. Wesley, thank you for everything. God bless you, my friend.
God bless you. Thank you for having me on anytime, sir. Thank you.
Take care of yourself.